For today's lesson, we are going to add some shading or shadowing onto our colors here. And so what the first thing you want to do is go into Procreate, go to your stack and open up your project. Then the next step is that we're going to open up layers. So we're going to tap here and we're going to take 2 fingers and swipe across for each one of the color layers. So I'm going to go down and swipe across each one of my colors. Nope, wrong thing. Okay, make sure, and the way you know the alpha, this is called alpha lock, and the way that you know alpha lock is on is that there will be a checkerboard behind your picture. So you can see that checkerboard here, and it would be behind each one of your colors here. Okay, so all of my colors layers I have turned on alpha lock, and you can see that checkerboard effect going on. What this does is it keeps the paint that you're using or the brush that you're using inside that color shape. So even though you may draw outside of it, you're not going to see any paint spill out or move out. Okay, so you're going to go ahead and choose a color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my white first. I'm going to go to my white layer, and I'm going to increase the size here so you can see what I'm going to be doing. And then I'm going to go to my brushes, and I'm going to scroll down to materials, and then I'm going to choose the noise brush. Okay, make sure that one's chosen. I'm going to color pick the color, which is white, but I want to add shading, so I'm going to make it a little darker, and you can tell because you'll see the ball here is going to change darker on one side versus the other. Then I'm going to take the brush, and even though I'm out here, nothing happens. Okay, nothing's happening out here because we've turned alpha lock. So the only place it's going to color is inside here. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to add some shading. So I don't know if you can see this. Let me see if I can. Let me change the color real quick, and I'll make it really dark so that you can see. Okay, now you can see the shading. Okay, so I'm going to go in and add shading, and if you notice, if I go out here, it does nothing. It stays inside this cloud. So I'm just going to add a little bit of shading here. And actually, I don't like that color, so I'm going to go back to the lighter gray. You won't be able to see it here on the video, but I will. Let me go back here. White. And then go down to a little bit of gray. And so I'm basically just going to just kind of color along, pressing down. Now the brush size should probably be, I'm going to say it should probably be a 5 or 6 or a 7. So I'm going to go back and redo this on that brush size. So I have a little bit more control over what I'm doing. Okay, so if you can see that, there's shading going on. Now I'm going to go to my other cloud and do the same thing in this cloud. I'm just going to add shading on one side of the cloud. Okay. Then I'm going to go and do the same thing on my sun. And you're probably going, the sun doesn't have shading. Yeah, right, but it looks good. Okay, so I'm going to go to my orange and pick that orange. I'm going to color pick it. Okay, and then come here and I'm going to drag this little ball down a little bit so it makes it just a little bit darker so you can see the difference there. And then do the same thing, just go down one side of my sun here. And, you know, it makes it it just looks really, really cool if you can see that there. And then the other oranges I have here that are on here are the feet. So I'm going to come here to the feet and the beaks. And I'm just going to continue adding that shading going around the feet and the beaks. So anywhere there's orange, and you don't have to do it on all of them. But as you can see, I can draw over here and nothing's happening. So the shading is only going to be where I have the alpha lock turned on this orange. And right here for her. Okay. Going to go to my next layer, and so I'm not going to do anything in the sky, in the blue sky. I am going to do something, I think, with the yellow. So maybe I should just work my way down. So I'm not going to do anything with the black eyes. I'm going to go to the blue and go ahead and color pick the blue and then change it to a darker color. Notice I haven't changed my brush. My brush is still the same. And I'm just going down and adding just shading on one side. Okay, I'm not worried about the eyes, the blue eyes, but I'm going to come here in this little tail and add some shading here. And then scroll back out and see if there's anything else I want. Oh, right here is blue too. So you can see this really big. So I'm going to add shading here. Okay. All right, so then the next layer would be purple. Okay, so I'm going to click there. I'm going to color pick purple and then go down a little bit. Oops. Color pick purple again. That's a great thing about color pick is you can always go back and fix it by just holding your hand down on it. Okay, so I want to come here. I'm going to put some things here. So everywhere I have purple, where I think it would look nice, I'm going to add the shading. Okay. I don't think I'll do the eyeballs here. Next is the yellow. So we're going to color pick the yellow. And then make that a little darker. Oh, see how it changes on me? Just bring that down a little darker. So here's my yellow. I'm going to go down her side here. Okay, I'm not worried about the eyes here. I'm going to go down his side here. And then we've got some yellow feet here that I'm going to add some shadow to. Okay. Go back to my layers. Now we're going to work on the pink. So we're on the pink layer. So we color pick and then we drag down just a little darker. And then we're going to go to the pink. So I'm going to start with his little ear tufts or his little feather tufts up here. His little wings. Her wing. And then his little tail down here. And then his wings. And maybe some down here. I think that's about all I'm going to do to him. And then go back to my layers and I'm going to go to the grass. So the dark green, if I tap there and then I color pick the dark green, I can do it a little darker, almost black, and then just go in with this one. I'm going to put it on the edges here, and maybe up in here. Kind of give it a little shadow there. Okay, then go to the next green, and this one is the medium green, so it's not this one here, but it's this one here. So we're going to go there, and we're going to make it a little darker, and then just kind of go in and fill in those areas. I may want to increase my brush size on this. And because you have the alpha lock on, look, I can color here all day and it's not going to do anything. Add some shadows there. And then the one last place we're going to do that is we're going to go to the light green, color pick the light green, make it a little darker, and then go in here and add shadows on the light green. Okay, so once you have finished adding your shadows, your project is complete. So now what you want to do is you want to go to the wrench and you want to share it as a JPEG, JPEG. That's what we use to turn in. Save it to your Google Drive and then turn in your assignment.